The Constitutional Court impeached the President Yoon several weeks ago. Well, it was a very shocking decision to many people in South Korea because there are more than three conservative justices at least in the Constitutional Court. So some people expected they will drop the case or dismiss it. However, at the end, they impeached the President Yoon unanimously, which is the decision nobody has ever expected. The second question is that I want to hear about how you felt about after you heard that the President Yoon got impeached, and we want to know how American people reacted to the impeachment of President Yoon.
Well, I was very fortunate, Yashan, because of our friendship, to understand the real truth of the detail around that impeachment. And so I saw it through a very different lens than I think most Americans who were reliant upon the mainstream media here, who represented that impeachment was appropriate due to President Yoon's having called for martial law, not ever explaining that his call for martial law had to do with exposing what was happening within South Korea's government, and that it was, in fact, a position taken in defense of liberty and in defense of voters' rights. And that has been entirely misrepresented in our press. And in fact, I just, for curiosity, I went to one of the AI engines that we have here in our country called Chat GPT. And I asked it to give me a summary of what it recognized as being the story of the impeachment of President Yoon. And it too gave me an explanation that was extremely biased, centered around this call for martial law. And so I think that there is a lot of misunderstanding about what really happened, and it's up to all of us to continue to try to make those corrections and edits so that it's not forgotten to history what really happened.
Yeah.
But I think that, from all that I have seen, Yashan, of you and of the patriots of South Korea, you will continue to make sure that truth is told so that it can't be forgotten over time, that what President Yoon did was quite an heroic act. And it was heartbreaking to see, but it is not, it's, as we say in our country, it's far from over.
We lost the President Yoon, and sadly the presidential election will be held on coming June 3rd in South Korea. And many Korean people are worrying about the rigged election again. And they are worrying about the possible Democrat Party's candidate Lee Jae-myung being the president of the South Korea. You might know that Lee Jae-myung is very dangerous person. He called the U.S. Army in South Korea as the colonist, and he is the pure follower of CCP and communism in South Korea.
Yikes.
Recently, Steve Bannon he talked about how bad and dangerous Lee Jae-myung is in his broadcast. The thing I want to ask this time is that is there any efficient way to prevent the rigged election, like you successfully overcame the rigged election in last November presidential election? So what did you do especially to prevent the rigged election, and what ways or works or even methods we can imitate to overcome the rigged election in upcoming the presidential election?
I think that the greatest thing that happened in the 2024 election was that so many millions of Americans were standing together in defense of a transparent and accurate election process. And the way that they participated was by volunteering at every stage of the process that they could within their local jurisdictions, but also in helping to spread the word about concerns, and in encouraging everyone to be very vigilant in their participation in elections, to make sure that they did participate, to make sure that if they went to the polling place and had a problem, that they did not leave until that problem was resolved. We made sure that there was sufficient legal support in the local polling places, so that if there were problems, there was someone that could be pulled into the situation and act as counsel very quickly. We set up a web app that allowed for election workers to communicate, to say, if they were seeing problems in one location, so that other locations would know what to look for. And then we were able to send that information on to law enforcement. And Yashawn, I will say that any tool that we have created here, we would be honored to share with you if you would find that to be useful. There are we have an app that's called Vote Alert, which is a great app to connect teams. So maybe there are some things like that you could use and we can help you with. But the most important thing is to have as many people as you can outside the polls and inside the polls standing in defense of election integrity. It's like, it's like the old saying about, sunshine is the best disinfectant. Having a lot of eyes watching the process will help to reveal those participants that may have bad intentions. I'm not saying that it's going to fix everything, but it will definitely have an impact, because there is nothing stronger than the collective voice of a risen people who will refuse to accept the scandals and errant ways of those that look to manipulate the system. So getting honest eyes on the process is key, and having lines of communication in place to help quickly spread the word. Those are my recommendations.